Hello everybody, my name's Howl and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be taking a look at the best champion in all of Raid Shadow Legends. Now if I told you that champion was a free-to-play champion, you may think I'm crazy. You may be thinking, there's Galathir, there's Lazarius, there's all these amazing mythics. How is the number one best champion in Raid free-to-play? Well guys, I present to you Marius. Now, Marius is by far, in my opinion, the best champion in all of Raid. This champion really is just the best. When you think of the best as something, you usually think, uh, what are the qualifications? One, it has to be the best everywhere. That's what makes it the best. It has to be the most usable thing, or the best person at whatever it may be. Someone who can do the most positions in a sport, or covers the most different things, whatever it may be. You really just think about the overall best. The overall best champion in Raid is Marius the Gallant, bar none. The only other champion that I could really see, being on a similar level is Galathir. Galathir is usable in every place in the game, but he isn't like actively ran as one of the best. So for us to really decide who's the best, the thing you have to look at is who is the best in the most places. And now the best thing about Marius is he just is the best in everything he does. When it comes to an arena nuker, absolutely amazing. Yeah, we have arena nuker, we have PvE speed runs, we have Hydra, we have Chimera. This champion does it all and then some. So we're gonna go ahead, look at his his skills, his stats, everything else, and then we'll really get into builds, teams, everything, all that fun stuff. So starting off, Marius the Gallant is a legendary defense void champion in the Skinwalkers faction. You get him by completing his missions. I know a few people in my Discord that I've been around for a very long time have just recently got him, and I wanted to make this video. I'm making this with them in mind, but I know a lot of people are getting Marius every day, and the biggest thing is that there isn't like a very up-to-date Marius guide, so I wanted to bring this to you guys. So on his A1 called Auric Lance, Uric Lance. How do I? I've never read his skills. So attacks all enemies, has a 35% chance of placing an enfeeble debuff for one turn. You can boost it up 20% damage and 15% extra chance of enfeeble, so you can make it a 50% chance. And that damage boost is actually very, very good for an A1, especially his A1 in specific. Then his A2, Death or Glory, on a 4-turn cooldown, you can book it down to a 3, and I do really recommend that he gets all your books. He's by far, well, as this video states, the best champion in the game, which means his books are incredibly valuable. So yeah, Death or Glory level 1, 4-turn, books down to 3, attacks all enemies 3 times. Each hit decreases the duration of all enemy buffs by 1 turn. Damage based on defense, enemy max HP. Now the fact that this is enemy max HP is what makes him one of the best for PvE. The defense part is very important for him to be able to do any damage in arena or any PvP content. But the enemy max HP can help you sometimes in fighting some really tanky champions, but it really isn't that much. It you know it helps, I guess. Then on his A3, Galloping Thunder, level 1, books down to a 4-turn cooldown, places a increased accuracy buff and an increased defense buff on all allies for 3 turns, which is very solid. Then places a stun debuff on the enemy with the highest turn meter for 1 turn. Finally grants an extra turn. I mean, the skill is just amazing, guys. This skill is the perfect setup for obviously Marius, but it also really helps champions like, Commodus or Nishak or Fabian or any of these guys. Usually those guys are going to go before him, but if he does happen to go first, or if they need that setup even after he's taken a turn, it can be great. And now, one of the big things when it comes to what makes a champion the best, or what makes something the best, often the best has the least amount of counters, or the least amount of ways of making it worse. The fact that he's void makes it to where he has no affinity. There's no affinity things that are going to mess with him. And then his passive is another really big thing. This champion is immune to turn meter reductions and decreased speed debuffs. This right here makes it to where, you know, if you don't have great stone skin gear, you can run him in feral, you can run him in pinpoint, you can run him in many different options. There's so many ways to build this champion. And again, that's another thing that this champion covers is just the amount of ways you can use him and him still be super, super effective. And I think that's awesome. And then also, whenever an enemy changes form or attempts to decrease this champion's turn meter, counterattacks using this champion's default skill. His default skill is amazing, hits very, very hard when built well. And then he has a 35% defense aura in all battles. It's okay. I mean, I think Nubs did a video recently about kind of auras and how they're boring. They are boring. His is one of the better defense ones, but you know, it really doesn't matter. 9 times out of 10, you're going to be running a speed one anyways. So, and it is what it is. So, Marius, how do you build him? What relics are we going to be looking at? All that fun stuff. What blessings? Gonna cut in real quick, guys. If you are looking for account work or just a great community of people to join, you can join my Discord through the link down in the description. Now, if we head on over here, you can see here my account work and prices listed. I have recently added some new offers, such as monthly Hydra driving, live arena season driving, and a Hydra team plus run. These are all pretty solid deals compared to what I normally do, especially live arena. That is way, way lower than I used to charge. It does just take a lot of time and effort, and I hope you guys, if you need help, come to me for your help. It really helps me out and it helps you guys out. All of my work is consistent and very good, and if you ever need some work with the schedule of things or whatever it may be, I work with people all the time to reschedule things and make sure they are looking good. If you guys do not already know, I'm doing a giveaway at 2,000 subscribers of 3 lemon takeovers. That 2,000, as long as we're able to hit it before the end of November, that is a total of $600 being given away back to you guys. A lemon takeover is a full account takeover. Usually takes 2 sessions to get it all done. And then once you completely run out of silver and everything, that's pretty much when it ends. So all you got to do to enter into that is subscribe and join the Discord. Outside of that, it's really just simple. You just wait, and then I will be doing a drawing for all the people that are subscribed and in the Discord. So yeah, guys. We're gonna start off by going over here. Relics, say the big 3 that I can think of. Cat's Gaze is by far number 1. I don't think there's a better one for him. It really just allows him to do that much more damage in places like Chimera, in Arena, really a whole lot. I mean, this helps so much in Arena. And then the other place it really helps is Hydra Chimera. I know I already mentioned Chimera, but any PvE, it really does just help the more defense you ignore. And now the other ones I would really recommend, if you guys happen to have them, I would be taking a look at. Covetous Passion. No, okay, sorry. Wrong. Thinking of the wrong stuff here. Where is it? Yeah, Stormcaller. There we go. Stormcaller is absolutely amazing on Marius. I mean, it's incredible because he's just constantly stunning the enemies. He's doing a whole bunch of extra stuff with this. So I would highly recommend, if you have a Stormcaller, to either put it on Marius or Thor. Those are probably the 2 best champions for it. And then if you don't have mythic relics, if you don't have a Cat's Gaze, some other decent ones are going to be like Malefic Talon, just for those earlier game builds. Another really big one is a Wand of Submission. Now, Wand of Submission is, I would say, generally the most applicable relic in all the game, like especially in PvP. Now in PvE maybe not so much, but in PvP it can go on literally anybody. If you're really focused on him in PvE, you can, you know, throw a gilded dragonstone on there for him. You can throw the talent on there. You know, if you really need some accuracy, I will say that Molten Death Bell can be somewhat useful. Gore Crescent can actually be pretty solid on him. It's not ideal, but if you don't have any of the other ones, it is an option. There's plenty of different ones you could be putting on him, but those are just a couple that come to mind. Yeah, so that's all I really have when it comes to the relics. the just if you have a cat's case, put it on him. Like I said, best champion in the game. He deserves it over anybody else. And we will fix my build, by the way. I know he's missing a piece right now. He's doing some hard faction wars. On him, the biggest blessings you can go with is at 6 star crushing rend, and then anything before 6 star go soul reap. And even once you're at 6 star, a lot of people run soul reap, and it might be something I go back to. This is much more PvP based. I was just generally trying to help my PvE with crushing rend because it really helps out a lot. I mean, you're ignoring an extra like 30-40% depending on what you're fighting, which can be incredible. So yeah, I will say, yeah, Crushing Rend and Soul Reap are easily the best options. And then Masteries, these are the Masteries I have on my Marius. I don't think there's really any better that you can go with. I mean, no, there really just isn't. This is definitely the way to go. You want to make sure you have Methodical because of how often he uses his A1. You want to make sure that you have Sniper and Master Hexer, um, because Sniper gives you an extra 5% chance at Enfeeble, and then Master Hexer has a 30% chance to extend that Enfeeble to make it 2 turns, which against some of the mythicals can be absolutely game changing. On the attack side, it is super important you get Cycle of Violence and Helm Smasher. Life Drinker is also very helpful and something that I recommend heavily. So yeah, if you guys really just focus on the crit rate, crit damage, life drinker, cycle of violence, bring it down, methodical, and helm smasher, and then on this side just get master hexer and sniper, and you will be doing absolutely fantastic. So we're gonna head on over to his actual build. Now there's many ways you can build this champion. Now for me, we have the stone skin and lethal is really like this is the best for PvP. It doesn't there isn't really anything else that quite matches it. He's already immune to turn meter decrease, so if you want to, you can definitely go with Feral, and I think it's something I might look into because of the really big issues with like Marius and stuff in the meta right now. Not that there's an issue with him, but stuff that can really shut him down is Calvalax, which isn't that big of a deal. But Calvalax is just saying, you really do need something to block these debuffs. And then the other big thing is Commodus. Commodus, most people run him in Stone Skin or Feral, and you just swap forms on him, and then he doesn't get that Enfeeble. So you really need to have something to help counter him if you're going to be going against him a lot, which I feel like you do end up against Commodus quite often. And a really big way to counter that is by putting someone in Feral so he can't do his bombs. So yeah, Marius in Feral and Feral and Lethal or Stone Skin and Lethal is definitely the best way to go for PvP. Now, the stats on this Marius 53k HP, 7.3k defense, 295 speed, 100% crit rate, 325 crit damage, and 342 accuracy. Now, one of the big things you're going to notice here, especially when you start getting your Marius built up, is it's pretty hard to get defense on him. Despite having a a very solid base defense, I feel like it can be pretty difficult to get on him because you need all of that crit damage, the crit rate, some accuracy, a whole lot of speed. I mean, if we look at my pieces on my Marius here, we have double speed, crit rate, we have double speed, crit rate, accuracy, we have speed, triple crit rate, crit damage defense percent, crit damage gauntlets with accuracy, defense percent, and speed, defense percent, crit rate, crit damage, speed, and then speed, and then triple defense percent, crit rate, crit damage. Not that much defense on that. A good amount of accuracy on this, and then most of my defense is coming from this. This is 888 defense added on to my Marius, which is really strong. I mean, that is a lot of defense. And if you're going to be going with an accuracy banner, which I would recommend most of you do, unless you have a 5-star soul, and even if you do, it can be really beneficial. But I mean, we're losing 600 defense, which I'm a little iffy on if that's worth it or not. The defense really just helps him put out damage in arena. Now let's head on over to his PvE build here. So you're going to see quite a few changes. One, we are in 6-piece Merciless. He has about the same amount of HP, 6.6k defense, 315 speed, 100% crit rate, almost 370 crit damage, and 400 accuracy. Now, one of the big things with this is that we have a whole lot of extra crit damage. I mean, this is a whole lot. It's like an extra 50%, which is great. Now, crit damage is what makes him do damage in PvE. Without crit damage, he won't really be doing that much damage. So you really need to make a big focus on that when you're doing a PvE build. I highly, highly recommend either 6 or 9-piece Merciless. You could also go 6-piece Merciless with a zeal set, just so you get that extra crit damage, extra damage boost. The damage boost is a little iffy in some places. I know that in Chimera you don't really get a damage boost on your max HP hits from like protection or feral or any of these things. So this is just really important to try and make sure you max out his stats over things like protection and things if you're trying to run him in like Chimera. So let's head on over. I don't have anything in specific set out. I'm really just gonna do this on the fly just because I feel like he's that strong and it doesn't really matter if I know what I'm doing with this or not. So my Marius, he's actually really, really fast. So it might be a little hard to get a proper team set up for him, at least with the builds I currently have. Let's just try and set up a somewhat free-to-play friendly team. I know I do have a 6-star soul on him. I know I have good gear, but just a general gist of how you build a team around Marius doesn't change. Uh, what speed is... Okay, she's slower than him. Now, Venus can be any decreased defense weakened champion. It does not have to be Venus. I'm just trying to, do this somewhat quickly. Do I have... I only have a +4. Okay. Then we're just gonna throw some speed on here. Yeah, we'll throw that on there. There we go. We got enough speed. So we're gonna throw Venus in here. This can be Lydia, guys. This is probably better to be Lydia. I just know that my Lydia right now is built incredibly slow. So I'm not gonna try and overlap that, trying to make the speeds really weird. I'm just gonna leave it alone. So yeah, just assume this is Lydia. We already have Lamasu, so the HP burns aren't that important. And then the rest of the team, we can throw in. There's quite a few champions we could throw in here. Duchess isn't really free to play. Man, a lot of the champions I have like built and stuff aren't super free to play friendly. Let's think here. Who can we throw in? Well, what do we already have? We know we need Hex. That is something that we do need. We need another damage dealer would be pretty nice. You know what we could do actually? We could throw in the dog and Shayek in here. Now, of course, this isn't going to be this is going to be like a purely Marius team once I throw these champions in. But, a backup damage dealer to Shayek can be incredibly important. And then, I really just have Duchess built, guys. You can throw in any support that you have built. It's just Duchess gives increased attack for Shayek, which can be very, very well. It's incredibly important that you have that. So I'm sorry the team doesn't look super free to play friendly, but there is plenty of ways you can make it much more friendly for you guys by slotting in some other champions. And I've done plenty of videos of talking about different champions you can slot into different teams. We don't even have a provoke in this team. That is not cool. Whatever. We'll see what this gets. Having no provoke may become a problem. It may not. I don't know. We're just throwing it in here to throw it in here. Yeah. Well, 665 million. Nothing fantastic, quite frankly. It's not that great, but it's not that bad. We'll run one more. For a lot of you guys, that's probably actually really good. It's just I'm so used to getting billions and billions of damage or seeing teams with billions of damage where, 500 million isn't that great and 226 million on a champion isn't that great. But for a lot of you guys, that's probably awesome. For a lot of you guys, 226 million is probably what you get on your team, or maybe even more. So yeah, I mean that's not bad by any means. And then actually, I have a screenshot of my key with my Marius team inside of Chimera. So actually, no, it's right here. Okay, I thought it reset already. It didn't. Now, I don't tend to do too much damage to Chimera. It just isn't something that I've put in that much time into to try and make great. But as you can see here, got 5 trials. The trials are certainly not good, but 231 million damage isn't that bad. Um, I used to do right at bare minimum for one key, so that's like 100 and what is that, 112.5? Yeah, 112.5. So almost doubling or over doubling my damage. I'm very, very happy with that, and I can see that being a massive boost for me. And that was really when I got the 6-star souls, what did that for me. But a lot of you guys, if you're just trying to one key, Marius is going to be the best option. He is the least gear intensive out of like the ninjas and all of those champions. So and yeah, this right here is a great example of a good amount of trials in a team. I know there is a Mari's team that gets like 21 trials, but just in my clan, here's a pretty solid example of something you could use. So yeah, that is Hydra and Chimera. Of course, in Demon Lord, he can do great stuff there, but you're probably not worried about Demon Lord if you're doing if you have Marius, so I'm not gonna worry about that too much. In Hard Faction Wars, he's taken me all the way up to maxing out the boss. I don't have a screenshot of that, and I clearly don't have all the stars there yet either. So we're gonna skip on over straight to the PvP side of things because this is really important. And then we're gonna go back to PvE and dungeons. I just want to get this arena side of things knocked out for you guys because this is incredibly important and this is where most of you guys are probably going to be using your Marius. So this is my speed farming team right here. I just use Marius, Lysandra, Arbiter, and Cheshire Cat. My Cheshire Cat doesn't have his gear on right now, so this is really just going to be Marius doing his thing. And, maybe I lose this fight. I mean, there's a chance I do. Let's see. I can get a kill here. Yeah, there we go. And okay, that's funny. I don't I don't think I have my Cheshire fully built right now. Okay, I do actually. Okay, awesome. I thought I had taken a couple pieces off of him for Shayek. Wow. My Cheshire does not mess around. It doesn't matter who we fight. We can fight literally anything with Marius. It just doesn't matter. Um, he is the champion that I go to when I want to fight anything. Throw him in, get some good stats on him, and he will blow up most things. You usually want to run him with a backup nuker, at least from my experience, unless they don't have stone skin or something. If they don't have stone skin, they're just a free wipe. Like it isn't something you got to worry about. But without without the most insane gear on Marius, it doesn't matter if they don't have stone skin and stuff. Like a very average Marius is not going to just wipe, and that is a really big issue that I think people have when they first get their Marius, and especially when I got my first Marius. Well, when I first got my Marius, I was really confused at why I was doing no damage. And guys, a lot of the damage in PvP specifically from Marius comes from the soul. You get so much defense and so much crit damage from the soul that without it, it just feels like you're doing nothing. Like when I got my Marius, I was so disappointed. I was like, man, this guy does nothing. But if you just give it a week, 2 weeks, a month, you will start to see how incredible this champion is, and you will be blown away the same way I was, and the same way many, many others are. Yeah, see, like this team, we have. Oh, we got locked out, but we did have stone skin. There we go. We wipe him out. Marius just doing his thing. Cheshire not getting an extra turn there. Come on. Oh boy. See, in this situation, if I would have been thinking, I probably would have just waited to do anything with Marius, but it is what it is. We are not getting lucky here. I was really, really hoping for a um oh my goodness, just swap forms. Holy cow. I was really hoping for some enfeebles or something here, but it's fine. We do this. We wipe out most of the team, and then Cheshire has his stuff ready as soon as we get around. We just gotta make sure that nobody else is taking a turn. There we go. And we knock him out with Cheshire. Now, a lot of this has definitely been a little bit of a Cheshire showcase. You know what? Actually, this is a great team to showcase Marius against. I'm gonna take Cheshire out. I'm gonna throw in Carnage just to throw someone in there that isn't Cheshire. I know Cheshire is incredibly strong. So yeah, here, okay, that Cavalex sucked. All right, let's go ahead. There we go. Even against Arnorn, doesn't matter. We just deleted him. Let's go up against this team. A Bullet team, pretty cool. Very slow. I say very slow, but I am decently quick. And just A2, we don't need to get A3. I will say, if you guys do not have Feral or Stone Skin or Pinpoint, you definitely need to be careful using his A3 in Arena. Because a lot of people run a wand, and if you are going in with a build that doesn't have a way to make sure you don't get stunned off of your own A3, you can ruin so many of your fights just by doing that. And I know I have. I've certainly done that a lot. But let's try to find something that's at least halfway entertaining. Ooh, got a bit of a Nell team here. Okay. We can, yeah, we can try this. So we're gonna just try and counter this team with the same thing that it's running. Maybe I could have thrown Togron in here, because they may have a stronger Commodus. I'm not sure. Yeah, let's go ahead, swap forms, and nuke out. Okay, so I did have higher HP in this situation. Since I have Stone Skin, I'm going to swap forms there. I'm going to just There we go. All right. So we really need to get, yep, Enfeebles up. We can steal some of their buffs. Okay, we could be in some trouble here. Okay, we did reflect. What in the world? So we're going. There's probably a wand on all these champions. Okay. So we're gonna swap forms. We're gonna throw this A2. Blow him up. Gonna get rid of her stone skin so that Marius can just go in and finish this stupid team. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This Theodosia is a monster. Okay, there we go. There we go. All right, we're about done with the arena segment. I got a little carried away there. I didn't want to keep dying to that team. Let's just throw in a full team surrounded by supports. Oh, okay, okay, okay. And we're gonna die again. I swear. I feel like I should just never touch arena in these videos. I have enough stone skin. It doesn't matter. I don't know why I didn't just start with that. Let's boost. Let's steal her turn meter. Let's buff up. We're not dying to the Marius. I refuse. It's just not gonna happen. Oh, but it may find a way. Okay. All right. We're good now. We're good. My lord. Man, every time I'm in live arena or something. All right. So if we throw Marius into really any dungeons, he's going to be incredible. I'm not going to waste any time in Iron Twins. Just know essentially we throw him in with two other max HP, we get a reset, and we have Pythion in there to help support Arcane, any of the keeps. It's just Marius solo. It's incredibly easy. Um, yeah, I mean, it's super easy. Then we have Minotaur, another super easy one champion farm, 7 seconds. Ice Golem's Peak, it's very simple here. You can throw him in if you have a Regeneration, Stone Skin, and Korra. Builder slow, and you can just 2 to 3 man this. It's very easy with the well-built Marius and a well-built Ancora. I'm not going to show that run. My Ancora is not currently built for it. Spider's Den, I have a 3-turn team here. It's just Marius, Riho, and Newt. Newt can be really just new. I mean, there isn't too many other champions you can throw in a place of him. And Marius is really the only good sub in for Newt. Maybe a Thorion. A Thorion could be pretty good. But yeah, that's the team I have there. Newt was a fusion, so hopefully most of you guys have him. Dragon's Den, I run this team right here. And since it is a pretty solid event, or it was, I don't know, I didn't see. Um, I'll run a quick run of this so you guys can see how it works. You don't see too many seer teams anymore, mainly because Marius exists, and with Marius existing, you don't really need. Oh my goodness, quit with the turns. You don't need seer too often anymore. Yeah, she took too many turns that made things really weird. So yeah, we just nuke. We reset. And then Marius takes a turn, and we win. Fastest time ever being 23 seconds. That's not bad. And then we take Marius to Sand Devil, where he is in my one cycle team. Sometimes it fails because I don't have a Siffy, but besides that, everybody does their 308k every time, and we get it. Cool stuff there. Marius is basically in everything I do. He's just an incredible champion. There's not really much else to say. Yeah, in here does the same stuff. Throw him in with one other nuker. It could be Newt. Usually isn't in this specifically. But another max HP champion or just a good nuker. So you can use here pretty easily. There we go. And we're looking good. So that is a 13 to 17 second farm. I'm fine with that. And that's all dungeons besides Fire Knight. I don't actually have a Fire Knight team with him included. Um, I don't really know. Here, I'm sure in here there's probably a Marius team. Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's just a multi-hitter. It's basically what I have now right here, but you throw in a Marius. I guess that's what most people are running. Um, yeah, not too complicated. He just does his triple max HP big hits, and you call it a day. He insta clears the waves for you. Yeah, there's not too much to say about that. He's just incredible in Fire Knight. If you guys do want to see me do a video on him in Fire Knight, I'm more than happy to do that. It's just not something I'm too worried about at the moment. In Doom Tower, you can use him against basically any boss in the game. If you look at any of my teams, he's going to be in there besides yeah, I mean, I use this exact team for almost every boss in the entire game. Bommel, Faye, Eternal, Griffin. The only thing I don't use it for is the um, Scarab there. I don't know why I'm brain farting. Yeah, the only thing I don't use it against is Scarab because Scarab I just use like Varl or Stag Knight um inside of a set. What is that cycle? Why am I brain farting, guys? Holy cow. Inside a destroy set. Okay, yeah. So he's amazing everywhere. And Curse City, if you can use him up against the Up against Amius, he's going to be amazing here. Any rotation, he's absolutely fantastic. He's just the best champion in the game, guys. There's nothing else to say. He's just amazing. Um, that's how I use him. If you guys have any other questions or need anything else answered about him, I'm more than happy to answer any of your questions. If you need some suggestions on your builds and things, these are mine. But you can drop some screenshots down in my Discord. I'd be more than happy to take a look at them for you. Uh, there's plenty of other people that also look at them for you to make sure they're looking pretty good. But besides that, guys, I really do appreciate y'all for watching. If you did enjoy this video, consider liking, subscribing. As I mentioned earlier in the video, there is now memberships on the channel, and there is also um, there's also account work, which I showed all of that. So besides that, guys, I really appreciate y'all watching. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out, everybody.